Welcome to TechZine TV.
Hi, and welcome to this new episode of TechZine Talks on Tour. I'm at NetApp Insight in Las Vegas, and I'm here with Gavin Moore. You are the CTO for Europe, or EMEA.
And Latin America.
And Latin America. Oh, so logical combination.
Yeah, of course.
Same time zone. No, it isn't. But you're a go-to-market CTO,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
What did that mean?
So go-to-market CTO means that I'm responsible for taking our strategy that is mainly developed in our headquarters in San Jose, and then making it relevant, making it fit for purpose for rolling out into a European market. So not all markets globally are the same. So some markets, like in Europe, we take our strategy, our product strategy, and so on, and then say, well, is it any different? So, for example, in Europe, obviously, we have lots of regulation. We have various different things. We have lots of different cultures, companies, and different markets that are very much at different levels of kind of maturity in certain things, cloud, AI. So we have to adapt our strategy for different markets.
Are there any similarities between Europe and Latin America because they combine those two, or is it just coincidental?
No, it's well, there are lots of similarities in terms of the market. So there's parts of Latin America that the market in terms of maturity and so on, and other vendors and generally our market share that are very similar to other parts, because obviously Europe is all the Middle East. It goes, for us, EMEA goes all the way to Pakistan and all the way to South Africa. Yeah. So there's a lot of similarities in some parts.
And also a lot of differences. So, yeah.
Well, of course,
yeah.
Really
So can you talk about some specific things that you need to address before you can go to market in at least, especially in Europe? I mean, obviously regulation, but what do we need to think about? Do you need to change the products themselves, or do you need to change your SLAs? Do you need to change
It's not necessarily we need to change anything, but we put them in a different context. So when we go and talk about, for example, AI, if we go and talk about AI in the European Union and we don't have a conversation about the EU AI Act, then that's kind of weird. Obviously we need to. So it's not that anything that comes from San Jose we can't sell. It's more what we need to add on to it to put it in the context of the country. So if we talk about cybersecurity, we'll talk about GDPR. We also put a layer of sustainability on top of the messaging, because politics and so on, sustainability doesn't always come through. So we always make sure, like for our customers in Europe who are very sustainability conscious, we add something on top.
When it comes to AI, do you think having the AI Act and having regulations in Europe actually will improve adoption or will accelerate adoption, or do you think so? From your perspective, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was asked this earlier on as well. It's a difficult question, but I think so. Regardless of the speed of adoption, first of all, I think the AI regulation is absolutely necessary, because AI is an amazing thing that we as human beings have created.
Yeah, but you need to define it, right? You need to know what's what.
Well, you need to define it, but also it can be used for incredibly good things, and the potential to do great things with AI, both from a business point of view and a social point of view, is huge. Yeah. But also the potential to do really terrible things and create all sorts of difficult human, political, social problems is also huge. So I think regardless of the speed of adoption, if we don't put some regulation in place, then it's very hard to keep it out of the bad guys' hands. It's very hard to do anything. And now regulation in itself isn't enough, but it's something. Yeah. Now I think from an AI point of view, I think what the EU has done is feels about right. So if you're gonna want to innovate around AI and it has no potential harm to humans, or it's not using private data or anything, there's very little regulation to deal with. Go ahead, do whatever you want to do. If you're going to do something that has the potential to discriminate or be unethical or use private data, then you need to explain yourself. Yeah. So I think it's about right. I think the speed of adoption has helped with technology. So if you are using technology that helps you do everything that the regulation needs, so the traceability, the explainability, if you start off with that in mind, then you should be fine. Yeah, it should be easy to do.
Is it really a technology discussion, though? Because, I mean, from a NetApp perspective, I understand, well, if you need a good infrastructure, otherwise you cannot have AI. Yeah. But there are lots of other factors at play in this thing as well, right? So.
Oh, of course. I mean, if you set out to do something that is going to be difficult in terms of regulation, then there's no technology in the world that's going to help you, right? So you need to keep that in mind. But if you're doing something that you certainly have no intent to do anything bad or negative or anything like that, if you set out with that intent, but you need to make sure that you are within the bounds of the regulation at all times, you need technology to help you do that. You need the technology available to help you have full visibility, transparency of the data, to be able to track and trace everything all the way back, and then you're fine, right? So you do need technology, but yes.
And then you have the people as well.
Well, yeah. So I mean, if you
because there's been a lack of adoption, right? And I don't think having the technology alone is enough.
No.
To actually get the adoption. I think there was what was it again? 95% of projects fail or whatever. Defined project, but that's a different story. And this has a very big data lake field that we had about 10 years ago.
It's the exact same statistic. We don't learn or listen to ourselves from 20 years ago. Yeah.
But and some things get out of it. I mean, cloud at first was also the people were hesitant, and that really was a success. I think we can call it that. Big data and data lakes, that hasn't really materialized.
It is what it is. Yeah.
I imagine AI was going to be more like the cloud thing than the big data thing. I hope so, at least.
Yeah.
But how do you? What are the announcements of this week going to do about that? About getting that 95% down to?
I mean, I think that 95% or whatever the statistic was, it's the vast majority of AI projects fail before they go into production, and there was another one about a certain percentage of proof of concept and never go anywhere. You know, we see that a lot of that is because the other number that we were talking about is that 80% of a lot of the work that goes into the early stages of these AI projects is getting the data sorted out. If you race ahead and go straight ahead and do all the sexy AI stuff and all that without getting the data right, then you're probably going to fail. That's the 90%. It's like if you go to build a house, yes, you can build a house on bare ground and you can build some walls. Sooner or later it's going to fall down unless you get the foundations.
And also what I also saw happening, and you see that waning off a little bit now, but at first there were a couple of big companies, we won't name any names, but they really wanted to gather all your data first before they actually did something with it, right? Yeah. And that's fundamentally the wrong approach, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost going back to the old, enterprise data warehousing days, and we all know what happened there. So I think, in terms of what we announced this week, it's if you look at getting the data foundation right. So first of all, you shouldn't have to get all your data and move it anywhere. You just need to know where it is, have the right kind of connections to it. Is it accessible? Does it have the right level of governance and so on? And I think what we've announced this week in terms of our data platform is exactly what you need there. So instead of having to go and get your data, move it all over the place, it's if you just store it using some kind of a unified platform, right? And then the data engine announcements we made as well, I think is a very, very powerful story, because that's kind of, instead of having to move your data to get it ready for AI, you get it ready in place. So the moving the AI to the data. And I think that's a very
because even though let's call it for what it is, right? So the AFX announcement, AFX, right? Yeah. The disaggregation and sort of that's cool. Yeah. I mean, and it's very scalable, but not really extremely new. I mean, there are other companies that are doing it as well, but the differentiator is really in that other part, right?
It's two things. So disaggregated isn't a new thing. Obviously, there's other vendors out there who do the massive scale. Yeah. However, what we've done is where we believe we've got something unique just in the AFX part is that it's the same platform that does the massive scale out storage management or data management, but it's the exact same platform that does all the enterprise grade stuff like the security, the availability, all the stuff we've been doing for 30 plus years. Yeah. The boring stuff, if you want to call it that, but it's essential. If you want to run AI in your enterprise, you're not going to do it without all the same level of production grade capabilities that you would have in any other application in your enterprise in production. So what we've done there is we've kind of unified all of this. It's a little bit analogous to what we unified way back in the 90s, but it means now that kind of scale out model plus the enterprise AI, you do it all with one platform. So that in itself is a little bit new. But the data engine part where we are bringing AI to the data, that I think is a very, very strong story, because when you're creating your pipelines for AI, you have to create all these copies and you have to move the data around, and as soon as you start moving the data around, it costs more. You're definitely increasing your risk because all that data is moving around the place and the bad guys can grab hold of it. sustainability. If you are concerned about sustainability, all of those things are bad. So I think this whole idea of leaving the data where it is and making it ready in situ, so that then you can then layer on and you're ready to do your AI straight off.
Fundamentally, you don't care about silos anymore, more or less. I mean, that used to be
the whole
big
idea
thing, right?
is the data platform should be getting rid of those silos for you, because it's the one there.
Silos are still there, by the way, physically probably, but I mean
exactly. But you have the right level of connectivity to them. You have the right amount of access. Not total access. You have the right amount of access to them. So that data platform, regardless of the disaggregation or anything like that, that data platform is what connects all the silos.
I want to dig into that unified piece a little bit more, because looking at it from a relative outsider perspective, even though I've been following the company for a long time, one could be forgiven for thinking that a company like NetApp has a tough challenge cut out for itself, because there are other companies in the world that actually offer complete systems, so appliances, and just throw it in your data center and everything. We have compute, we have networking, we have the lot. Yeah. NetApp doesn't have it. I mean, you have a sort of a little bit of compute now with the DX50. I mean, obviously, it's not the plan to really step into compute, to run VMs and databases on there, right? So,
not that I'm aware.
But how do you see that? I mean, are you in a difficult position, or do you have a different view? Because
no, I think we're in a strong position, but from a different point of view. So we talk an awful lot about the strengths of our partnerships. We're not deluded into think that when somebody wants to do any big high-scale application, be it AI or something kind of more traditional, that we're going to go in and be the full solution. It's not what we do, and we don't pretend to be that. And yes, there's some customers now saying, can somebody just come in and take care of this whole thing for me so I don't have to deal with the networking and so on. Through this, and where we work through that is through our partnerships. So we've got some very strong partnerships, indeed, that kind of infrastructure already with Cisco. We've partnerships already with Lenovo, with
and by the way,
Nvidia.
Cisco also needs that because they don't have storage.
Well, exactly. So it works for
and also Cisco is a very big company. Install base.
Exactly, it helps. So we have and we have our FlexPod solution with Cisco, and we've our AI for FlexPod as well. We also have solutions with Nvidia, Lenovo, and then more recently the kind of edge AI appliance with Intel. So that's kind of from a hardware point of view, but also then from a software point of view, we have countless different alliances with, whether it's to do with the operations or whether it's to do with whatever. We deliver those solutions through our partnerships.
You don't see a desire for more closed kind of ecosystems. I mean, I do see some of that happening as well.
I mean, I think history has shown that closed ecosystems will have a limited lifespan because things change, right? And if you have something that's closed, that where you say, well, everything is in the box and it doesn't work with anything else, it'll work fine. And we're already seeing some of those vendors who have that already kind of going, well, actually, maybe we need to be able to connect to these other vendors too. Because for somebody to say, here's a closed ecosystem, they must have a crystal ball to say, I know exactly what's going to happen in the future, and everything customers are going to need is already in this box. Yeah. And that's impossible. Yeah. Things change. In our industry, things change like
very quickly.
Daily, right? Yeah. So I think anybody who says everything that a customer needs is already in the box is almost certainly wrong. Yeah. So, but I also understand the whole idea of, well, let's deliver as much as possible as a solution.
Yeah, because that's what companies.
But don't make it closed. Keep it open and allow the possibility to work with other software hardware.
Because that's one of the reasons why, for example, SaaS AI, or so things that are connected to a SaaS application, they are already quite. Maybe not successful. I mean, the ROI on it is still a bit iffy, but I mean, they're being used.
Yeah, because you can sign up to it, and those vendors can innovate very quickly. They can push a new release out every couple of weeks. Whereas if it's software out in the world and hardware out in the world, obviously it's a far more difficult.
Well, how important is Keystone in this respect? If you're talking about taking it out of the hands of the.
Yeah, I mean, Keystone's huge for us because
that's your storage as a solution.
Exactly, storage as a service.
Sorry.
So our customers, I mean, you see all the analysts talk about, by 2020, whatever X% of all storage will be as a service, and whether that's true or not, we see it from our customers. We see a lot of, or we hear a lot of customers going, look, I love your technology and so on, but I need to consume that as a service, either for technical reasons and convenience, or sometimes purely from a financial point of view. And I think Keystone allows that, and allows the scaling, the bursting, and all that kind of thing. And for customers, depending on how they want to consume IT, if they want a cloud-like experience, but they're not fully ready to take the leap into public cloud with all their data, or they're just simply not able to for regulation, whatever, then Keystone is a great offering.
And but that's only the storage part. So it is storage as a service, right? So it's not the complete solution as a service that we talked about previously.
Correct. That's where we work with our partners and managed service providers, and who we're very close with, who provide all of that.
And they can actually deliver a similar experience to the. That's going to be important as well, right?
Oh, completely. Like they will come along and they will put the Keystone. In many cases, they will be the ones doing the managed services for the customers, and whether it's their partner services or our professional services, whether it's infrastructure. There's a lot of different ways to deliver that. But Keystone allows our partners, our managed service partners specifically, build the whole thing, and they manage the whole thing, and we just bring our part to the.
And so, last question, just to round it off: how do you think your customers will react to the AFX?
Well, I hope. No, I think they will say this is great, because everyone's looking at AI, and some people are doing it and so on. But a lot of our customers, depending on countries and markets and industries and so on, everyone's looking at AI depending on what it is. And I think certainly our install base of customers will going, well, this is great because I know NetApp, I know ONTAP, and I trust ONTAP with a huge amount of my data. So when I now want to go and do something meaningful with AI, I'm working with technology I trust and people I trust. And I think that's, for our existing customers, that's going to be very interesting, especially as well with our kind of some of the announcements you heard today as well, our cloud connectivity, because a lot of people will start in cloud and then come back, and that's fine. For new customers, though, I think it's another reason why, if they're not already looking at us from an AI point of view, I think they will, because it's a very interesting story. Some people won't agree, so on, but it's certainly something, we believe, something that nobody else is talking about. This kind of unified kind of way of doing AI data management, plus the data engine piece, the bringing the AI to the data. I think an awful lot of companies will certainly be taking a look, really understanding what it is and how it can work.
Well, and maybe for the AI factories that everybody's building now, that could also have a big impact on that. Right?
Absolutely. It's a one platform, one data platform to do whatever those AI factories are going to be, because again, there's lots of different variations on the gigafactories as well as the AI factories. In theory, there's one platform to do all of them.
What I really like about AFX is that it actually normalizes or consolidates the offering of NetApp somewhat more, right? So because of the optionality of the compute node, you can actually also use it for HPC purposes if you want, without the compute node, and with the compute node you can use it for AI purposes. So I think that's going to be interesting to see as well how that.
I think so. What we've announced today is a start, and you even heard in the sessions today talking about how this could evolve over the next period of time. I think it's a great announcement. I think it's a great way for us to move.
Because otherwise, if you'd said more, horrible announcement,
that would have been a weird comment. No, but I think it's a great way for us to put another stamp on the AI market, and I think people are going to stand up and take notice, and plenty more to come.
All right, thank you very much for joining.
Pleasure.
We will probably see each other next year.
No doubt.
Thank you for watching TechZine TV, the channel about enterprise technology that brings you IT insights and analyses from events all around the globe. We cover everything, everywhere. Visit techzine.eu for more written in-depth articles and analysis, or keep watching techzine.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels and share your favorite videos with your colleagues. We'll see you soon.